All right. Hopefully this won't stop the stream. We will see. Make sure I hit the right button. And we're going to know what's planned because it's announced up front. All right.
It is in rare form tonight.
Oh. All right. Okay. See, Lee, are you going to come through? Do you know?
No. I'm stuck.
In the chat, gonna come through. Where's Chris Borneo when you need him? Anybody gonna come through in the chat? Who we playing? Do we have to remove some cards? All right, here we go. I'll give you guys a hint. All right. So this doesn't have any Prince involvement, but it's on the back of the Hall of St. Mark, which is on Glamorous Life, which we're going to be celebrating next year for the Erotic City 40 Symposium. One of my favorite parts. I like.
Remember the black lady in Purple Rain with the church hat? I want to be like the black lady in Purple Rain with the church hat.
All right. See, okay, Nick Felden knows what's going on. Too sexy. Oh, I like this. I do a little bit of
Exactly. And the board, the keyboards was making me think about Sugar Walk.
Ah, yes. Okay. I'm not on my job. I got to say, what's up, though, to Andre first in the chat. Detroit is always in the building. We appreciate you so much. Good morning and afternoon. The ATL is in full effect. There's been it's either going to be Detroit or ATL first in the chat. That's the way we've been rocking. Welcome, Cassandra. Good morning, Prince Podcast. How are you this morning?
Well,
are you up, Prince?
Happy holiday.
Happy holiday. Welcome, Tampa. Happy holidays to all. Denver is in the house this morning. Been busy this week doing the Jughead. Love that, Nick. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Red Cat Up Rock. Okay, you got the munchies. All right. And
right.
All right. It's legal.
Sound like some 80s movie.
Hey, let's go to the mall after school. Stacy's gonna be there.
this song to get a little bit more love. What's up, AJJ132?
You have some Carl Jackson working out to this video.
So there's supposedly no Prince involvement, but I don't know. I would love to know for real.
To me, I could kind of tell, like, it's just a certain feel. That's why I was like, this can't be Prince.
Okay. Welcome, Ruby C. Smith. Say that again, Michael.
It definitely has all of these sounds to Prince. There's a certain feel that I could tell. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You thought it wasn't.
Okay.
All right.
Like that ending right there. That's all right.
Not bad.
Yeah. So the reason why I'm playing it is because we don't have a reading this week, but next week we got a lot of reading because we're going to start off talking about The Glamorous Life, the song, which was recorded next week in 1983. And we got about 10 pages to read next week. So you guys had a reading break, but you're not going to have a reading break next week. So I thought we'd start off with a little Sheila E. because we love Sheila. So welcome Ruby C. Smith, Tony's wife. Love that. Merry Christmas, Prince fam.
That's what I'm talking about, Tony. That's what I'm talking about. Lay it down, Tony. Lay it down.
Yeah, let them know I'm on.
Yes. And welcome, Dorothy. Happy 23rd day, 23rd year. The family's together. Love that.
Dorothy was
All right.
on the chat about. She worked the midday shift.
Good morning.
Right.
We got the next power generation in the house. Merry Christmas Eve.
What up, Thug Life?
We got Vanessa. Oh, I know about Thug Life. And we got Happy Saturday fam. Merry Christmas Eve from Chicago. Everybody got the Eve message. Love that. See, Chris Bornier, you were here. I was shouting you out because nobody knew the song, Chris, and I knew that you would know the song. So thank you so much for being here. And happy Christmas Eve to you as well. Welcome, Brandy. Checking in from the car with the Christmas tree in the passenger seat. That's what I'm talking about.
Look,
We got
I'm gonna get my tree now. We got a couple of days, right, man?
I'm gonna go get these on sale trees. The trees might be on sale right now. Give me one of them Linus trees from Charlie Brown with 2 twigs on it.
You get 2 for 20.
There you go.
2 trees for 20.
There you go. Oh
Have
my
this
God.
for this year and next year.
Yes. And we got Tanya in the house. Oh, happy Festivus.
Hey,
We got-
you got a Kwanzaa tree too. You got a Kwanzaa tree.
We got Mila. So we got our second next power generation in the house. Thank you so much for being here. As always, welcome. And I said, I was going to say Mila, my heart. See, I forgot it. Mila, my heart. Thank you so much for being here. Man Ray, happy holidays to this Purple Holiday Trinity and all the Purple peoples. I love that Purple Holiday Trinity. And Brandy T, Cincy Purple fam. And we got another Detroit. Oh, there we go. Detroit is in the house.
He's white.
Welcome,
Oh, there you
Batman. Brooklyn is in the house. El Michelle. We got Stone Freak in the house. Another AT alien. Dr.
Freak.
Claw.
Freak. Excuse me.
It's Purple Saturday. Yes, those timbales sound like Sheila. Chris knows what's up. And we got it. Everybody should know we played Too Sexy by Sheila E. from the Belle of St. Mark 12-inch. Welcome, Laura Guitar. Welcome, Ricky. Let's see. Merry Christmas and Happy Kwanzaa to you.
What up, Rick?
And let's see.
Who's
another
that?
group-
Kwanzaa. Umoja.
Oh, this is interesting comment. It sounds just like Sheila trying to be Prince. All right. Red Cat Up Rock and Modern Air knew what's up. We got North Carolina in the house. Melvin Rush the second. We got some Sheila E. Love. All right. And let's see.
Hey, I like when it says Sheila trying to sound like Prince. Would it be wrong if we asked people to put in the chat their favorite non-Prince artist that they like because they sound like Prince? What artist did you start digging because that artist sounded like Prince? And make it not an associated artist. So it can't be like The Time or like what non-associated Prince artist did you like because that person sounded like Prince to you?
Like Giorgio.
Yeah, there you go. Like Giorgio.
For the world off the rip, like digital display. Oh, Sheila.
Yeah, Ready for the World. Oh, Sheila.
Ready for the world. Andre,
Is it certain
India.
is it, that sort of tone is not in the music no more. Oh, you know. Oh, what was that? That was a thing that
Look at that was
whether
every
was out
song.
of breath or something like.
That was every song. Can he rock you like this, girl?
Yeah.
Can he rock you like that? Like, oh, brother, do you have asthma? What's going on?
That was it. We were in a different frequency back then, as they say, I guess. Oh, baby, you know,
Yeah.
all that whole thing. Like,
It was definitely a different frequency, Michael. So Chris Bornia is saying Shalimar because Dancing in the Sheets sounded like a Prince song. We got
Yeah.
Dream Boy. Did you guys
Oh
know
yeah.
I don't know Dream Boy.
I vaguely remember that.
Was Dream Boy shoot, what was the song? It was a Ready for the World song. One of them. I said,
It's one of them.
yeah, it was one of them.
I don't know what that. Okay, that might be where you from.
What's that song by Dream Boy? Don't Go. That's it. Don't Go. Y'all don't remember Don't Go?
I had to hear it.
No. Can you sing it for us?
Man. Huh?
Can you sing it for us?
Oh no, that ain't gonna happen at all. That ain't gonna ever. That ain't gonna ever.
Ever?
Look here. I'm the only person who tried out for middle school choir. That when I sung my part, the lady at the piano reached over into a box of Twinklets and gave me a little Tweety Bird thing and said, "Mackinnis, you blow this. This is gonna be your role in the choir." So with Rockin' Robin, tweet, that was me, but I could not sing.
Okay. What about Diamond Cafe? Patrick Courthouse notes. Do you know Diamond? I don't know
I
these.
love Diamond Cafe. See, there you go, Myron Scott. Dreamboat was cold. That's right, Myron Scott. Myron Scott said Dreamboat was cold.
Okay.
I would throw D'Angelo a little bit in that.
Yeah.
All right. And then we got Maxwell for sure. Yeah. Nowadays, Zach and Reggie B give me that sound.
What was the brother who had the song More Than Physical? More than physical?
I kind of remember that.
Oh, remember, and I don't know, I like them. Remember the group, what was it? Xavier, Eat Your Heart Out? Was it Xavier? What's the name of that group? Was it Xavier, Eat Your Heart Out? Eat Your Heart.
There was so many back then, though. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of hard to remember now.
Yeah, that's me, Vanessa Bilal. It's all about Bilal for me, but he doesn't necessarily sound like Prince, but it's just his vocal register.
That's it.
So
Xavier, am I pronouncing it right, brother? What? Am I pronouncing it right, Xavier? Eat Your Heart. Yeah, if you guys have never heard Xavier Eat Your Heart Out, go to YouTube. That is a fine. And here's the other thing. Here's the other thing, though. I'll say this about them. That song "Eat Your Heart Out" was the only song on their album that sounded like Prince. They were actually a black metal rock band. So if you want to be introduced to a black metal rock band, go check out Xavier. Their whole album is on YouTube.
Wow. So they just had to have that one sort of Prince sounding one.
No doubt, yeah.
That's the truth.
So I didn't realize, thanks for this, Chris. I didn't realize Jermaine Stewart was from Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, wow.
Huh. Interesting. And Chris, I didn't know you were in Columbus, Ohio, because that's where my aunt and one of my favorite people on earth, as well as my cousins and all sorts of people in Columbus, Ohio. Louis.
You don't have to take we don't have to take our clothes off, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah. Man, he'd have came out today, he'd be on top of the game.
And it says, put on Zach Irrevelation or Supermoon. And then Zach, it's just your Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that the video?
Oh, yeah.
The video song it's got like a Prince thing in it or something? I swear.
I don't know. Yep, I know all the Scott Woods is in Columbus. We know this, but in case anybody else didn't.
That's right. The great Scott Woods.
Yes, exactly. The one and only, as my grandmother would say. There will never be another. Welcome, Kim. All right, so let's get started. We got a lot to talk about because we're trying to make up for the past 2 weeks and this week. I have a strange feeling that we might not even get through these past 3 weeks. We're going to try. We're going to see. So what did Prince do this week? The state of Prince Rogers Nelson. I'll change it next year to what it's supposed to say. It's not affiliated, associated, connected with the What Did Prince Do This Week book club series. Everybody knows what we mean by that. What did Prince do this week? We're going week to week, not date to date. You can follow the detailed schedule. That's going to get an update next week because I'm going to have to do between now and next week our schedule for the entire year. So I'm really looking forward to that. But I'm going to do it. And you don't need the expanded edition, but that's what we're reading. The NIV version, for those of you who don't know.
Right.
Oh. And yep. See, Lee didn't get the yes. That's what we're reading. We're going to be doing a lot of reading next week. So it's important to make sure you get your books out because we haven't had them out for a while. And then these are archived on my YouTube channel at Polished Solid, as well as Michael Dean's at MDean. Please subscribe, like, and help spread the word so we can get more folks to read about Prince for next year, which is going to be a pretty stellar year, 1984. So please bring your friends. And then if you want to reach us via social media with anything that you post, please use the hashtag so I can find it, because some of you guys don't use the hashtag and I don't see it until like a month or 2 months later because I'm not that social media literate. So make sure you use the hashtag of WDPDTW. And if you want to send us anything, particularly, let me take a moment. Usually I try to fly by, but I'm going to take a moment. So next year, we're going to be talking about the Purple Rain Tour. And like we did for the 1999 tour this year, I would love to hear from people who actually went to specific shows. And if you have any memorabilia from those shows that you would like to share with us, we'd really appreciate it. We'd love to have you on. So just email that wdpdtw@gmail.com if you want to come on a specific date to talk about the show that you went to. And if you don't want to come on and you just want to share any memorabilia that you have, we'd really appreciate it. All right, that was the public service announcement. And then we were playing Too Sexy by Sheila E. And it was the B-side, because Sheila also had B-sides, which I loved, for the Belle of St. Mark. So it was the B-side. And this is one of my favorite covers of Sheila. The only thing that I don't like about this is that it's very 80s in that you have like the paint splash. That was a huge in the 80s was the paint splash. So that didn't age very well. So, this is definitely from the 80s from the paint splash alone. But I love that it's like the color of lipstick. I loved when Sheila's hair was all layered and the Glamorous Life look was really pretty incredible. And the signature blue, which isn't actually on this 12-inch, which I was a little disappointed with. They could have, tied in the blue some kind of way. Welcome, Mira. Thank you for being here. And let's see what Monair is talking about. Well, yes, you're like, I understand. So Monair is saying, I never understood why they use a live photo of Prince for a book about studio sessions. There aren't many photos of Prince in the studio. And the few photos that I've seen.
Thank you. That's why. That's why. You got to pay for them pictures. That is, look, this is not a shameless plug. That is why my book has terrible drawings of Prince by me. That's why it's on there. I remember I was at a signing one day and somebody walked to me like, man, that abstract portrayal you have of Prince. I'm like, yeah, go with that. Abstract portrayal. Go with that. That's what it is.
Well, I was saying too, I think that picture, if I was just somebody strolling through a bookstore, I saw that on Amazon, I know what that picture means. Like, oh, it's Prince. So what is that?
Oh, okay, that too. But you got to pay to use them pictures.
Yep, you sure do. All right. So we're actually going back to next week. I mean, not next week, last week. I wish we could go back to next week, but that would be time traveling. Go back last week. I didn't finish talking about the thread that Sterling Stewart actually put on Twitter. This is where we started, and then we never moved forward pretty much. So what I really love.
Like,
yes.
Yes, dummy. You know, I love it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then you can see this photo of Apollonius from the barn scene. So basically, Sterling is saying, you can't tell me that a copy of a longer cut of the Purple Rain film doesn't exist somewhere. It almost got the NC-17 rating. I think the film would have been even better. To know that these photos exist, this was such a tease and a smart move at the same time in regards to putting these images in the trailer. And then someone responded, one more thing. Then Sterling said, much of the stuff in that draft script that's been circulating for many years were filmed. If you've seen the trailer to the Purple Rain film, along with the music videos for Let's Go Crazy and Jungle Love, there were scenes and some alternate shots that were not included in the film. So I thought that this was a really good thing to remind everyone to go back and look at the trailer if you haven't, to see some of those deleted scenes, the music video for Let's Go Crazy and for Jungle Love, to see again some of those missing scenes. Yeah, Chris, you're right. NC-17 did
started like 19.
Yeah. It was gonna be an X, because that was the rumor that the movie couldn't come out because it had an X rating.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, Zakia, I'm with you. I would love to see the Second Coming clips. That's one of my holy grails. It would go really well with the Controversy Super Deluxe. I'll just pin that out. Universe.
I always thought that was what we had with Prince and the Bubblegum and the two girls. That's not Second Coming?
That is. But it's only like, I don't think it's all of it, or maybe it is all of it. I'm thinking that there's more, and it's not readily available. Meaning, like, it was in one documentary. Like Arte had a really good print of it. So I'm just curious if there's more than what we've been seeing. So that's the reason why. And Tanja says, I remember the X rating rumor. So that's because I remember that in real time. And
the reason I remember, because being 14, I was scared we weren't gonna be able to see it. That's why I was like, when I heard it's gonna be an X rating rumor, I was like, oh, I ain't gonna never see that. I mean,
I'm gonna have to wait till I see that one in the Kennedy tape, or
exactly
Leon Kennedy in them. My uncle might have it.
Yep, this is a really great idea, Modern Air. A comprehensive interview of Albert, even possibly the editors, camera people showing on these photos, including Apollonia, Jill, et cetera, if they can recollect as extra shots being filmed. I always try to do that. You know, like I that's one of the things I try to do. Like when we had the Triple Threat 40 symposium earlier this year with Jill, I was trying to show her stuff to try to help trigger her memory. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Whenever I invite someone on, I always try to have something visual that they can respond to see if it triggers another memory. But yeah, that's yes, Man Ray. The Second Coming is very similar to what Sign of the Times ended up being. It was supposed to be vignettes in between the Controversy concert. And then welcome, Just Rules. Thank you so much for being here in real time. And Stephen M says, Apollonia said there's no extra footage like people think. Yeah, everybody keeps saying that. And possibly that's true, but I'm going to keep hope alive. And good day, D'Angela, Mike. Great guest, Celia and Purple Fan. So my thing is, there's almost always a missing reel of something somewhere in somebody's cupboard that, you know, because that's how they found that Betty Davis live footage. Like for years, everybody was like, there's no live footage of Betty Davis. And it turns out that the director found this guy who literally had these reels in his cupboard, you know, just like sitting there. So it's just, you never know. So I'm going to keep hope alive. All right. And then again, everybody keeps saying Apollonia said that all deleted scenes were destroyed. That's the word on the street. And then I just want to give Sterling a shout out for helping spread the word about what did Prince do this week. Really appreciate any support for this, because it is a labor of love for all of us. Like Michael is getting out of bed like at 8 o'clock in the morning when he could be sleeping in, because he's on the West Coast. So another thing that was posted last week by Baron 3121 was this clip from this documentary about how the filming of Purple Rain saved First Avenue. So it was posted on December 10th. And actually, when you click on this image in the slideshow, it'll actually take you to that tweet. So you can actually watch the clip on Twitter. So...
And not to belabor this point, and I know they're like, here comes C. Lee. He always got to do this. But let's be clear. This is well documented. Black people couldn't play First Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, for those of y'all who don't know, the actual name is, y'all correct me if this is right, it's First Avenue and 7th Street entry, right?
That's correct.
And for the longest, the only part that Black people could play was the smaller room. Was that the 7th Street entryway?
Mm-hmm.
So the irony, and I want to say two things. So it's ironic that a Black artist saved a club that did not want Black people playing there. And I will add this, which the second part, I respect people even though things may go against my own personal sensibilities. I'm not the kind of person that's trying to get in somewhere where I'm not wanted. That's just not who I am. But I will say this. That is a testament to Prince, who understood, I'm not going to let your prejudice stop me from being me. You have this vehicle that I need. First Avenue, sometimes you got to play the only game that's in town. So those 2 points I want to make is that here you have, once again, a Black artist in Prince truly making America better by saving something that is now we all consider a treasure that was about to die. That's it. I'll shut up.
Mic drop. All right. So let's get into week 49 of 51. So we're going to try to cover 16 days of shooting Purple Rain. I don't know if we're going to get through 16 days, but we're going to try. The majority of the dates were in First Avenue. Actually, all of them were in First Avenue the past 3 weeks. So we're going to cut through this. So the shoe shine stand that we talked about last week was shot at Old City Hall, Minneapolis. And I'm not going to read this, but if you want to read it, you can. But it basically says that everything that they thought that they were going to shoot for day 41, they've anticipated that they would probably have already shot them, and that's true. So like if you read everything that's in the shooting script, you'll see that was indeed the case, and that they kind of stayed in First Avenue for the rest of the time. And supposedly if I had the right shooting script, and I could have the wrong shooting script, because there's so many scripts out there. So please correct me if anybody has any information that will make this more accurate. I would love to hear from you. This is a collective effort. This is our book club. I am not the expert. There's so much information out there. There's always a missing piece. But supposedly, this will be the final week of shooting in 1983 for the film. So let's go through some of these scenes and start off with the first scene. It says interior club. And I don't know if the club is supposed to be called Limbo or if that stands for something else. But it says Night Prince, VO, which I think is voiceover club, lights, montage, and that's Let's Go Crazy. Let's Get Crazy. Again, it keeps saying Let's Get Crazy because he changed to Let's Go Crazy because of the, Andre had a song called Let's Get Crazy, blah, blah, blah. Then the next scene, Prince sings Let's Get Crazy. We see all that. And then the next scene, Morris watches Prince performs says he'll stay him, but maybe they meant to type they'll slay him. And that's all of this is in the film. I'm trying to go a little quick. So what I do want to do is I want to read this article from the Los Angeles Times, because we haven't done any article reading in a while. So just bear with me. And then Celie and Michael, if you want to like interrupt me at any time, if something speaks to you, just let me know. And
we can thank you to the Adult Symphony for the super chat. We want to acknowledge that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. And so this is written by Howard Gelfand. Again, Los Angeles Times. The name of the article is Movie Star Prince Keeps His Icy Silence. So it says, ever since he emerged as a boy wonder musician a few years ago, Prince has been acting like a 1930s movie star, which I think is a really great way to open this, because it reminds me of Under the Cherry Moon when they say acting like a 1930s movie star. He lives in a purple lakeside home near Minneapolis, travels with a, don't know how to pronounce that word, retinue of sycophantic followers, has a bodyguard who looks like one, tall, big, mean, and tries to project a constant air of mystery. He rarely gives interviews and fudges his age. He claims 23, but his birth certificate shows 25. So now that Prince Rogers Nelson is actually trying to become a movie star, it comes as no surprise that he's carrying on with indifference. The filming of his star vehicle, Purple Rain, heads towards completion later this month in the frozen isolation of Minneapolis, and the players are maintaining an icy silence. They're not exactly unobtrusive in their bright yellow Cadillacs and their not quite broken in Eddie Bauer parkas, but they have managed to shroud Purple Rain in silence. They're pursuing a total publicity blackout, says the rep from the Beverly Hills PR firm that has been retained to assist in not publicizing the movie. They did this very successfly on Prince's albums, and they want to continue on that basis. Loose lips and a clandestine peek at the script indicate that the movie, optimistically planned for spring release, will be a tale of a brilliant young musician named Prince, who, through his music said to be about a fourth of the film, seeks to purge himself of the hatred and distrust instilled in him by his unhappy upbringing. So obviously we know that his name was not Prince in the film, it's the kid, but people seem to think that Prince was going to play Prince. That seems to be the real life story of Prince, whose parents separated when he was 7 and who bounced from home to home. But Purple Rain isn't strictly a biography. William Blinn, who did the original script, calls the film an emotional biography, adding, the events might not have occurred. I'm going to read that. The events might not have occurred, but the reality of the emotional trauma had taken place. Now, the reason why I wanted to really emphasize that is because, at least when the film came out, a lot of people thought that it was a biopic. And I think it's really important to stress that it really isn't. Celie.
If you remember the tagline from the trailer, and I remember this because my cousin John, who I love dearly, the tagline from the trailer was, before he made the music, he lived the music. Mm-hmm. Like, so that's like, so we go back and watch the trailer, which is funny to me because, you know, you'd have the commercials that would come on. And so me and my other cousin were like, oh man, yes, before he made the music, he lived the music. My other cousin John like, ain't nobody live no damn 1999, man. What they talking about? So I think about, yeah, but that is why they were pushing that as this was a bias. So we can correct people, but we do understand why a lot of people take Purple Rain as a very literal film, because everything around it was telling us that it was.
That's so interesting. When you think about it like that, it makes me think of particularly like in hip hop, and I'll say like gangster rap. It's sort of the implication in the promotion of it is that that's their story, when it's not. And even kind of looking at this, even Prince is sort of pushed that way, like it wants you to think this is kind of real, but it's not
real. Right.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I think I mentioned this last week, but I'm going to mention it again because it's a brilliant film, American Fiction, starring Jeffrey Wright. It's all about this. So like it's a really awesome film, and it talks about just what Michael just said. So if you want to continue our digging, you can go see American Fiction and support Jeffrey Wright. All right,
and
so go ahead.
I'll be Debbie Downer for just a minute.
Oh no.
So no. I want to say this because I want people to hear both things I'm gonna say. American Fiction is a great movie. Okay? But people are not gonna hear that after I say what I'm gonna say. I love Jeffrey Wright. I love everybody in that film. I'm opting not to watch it because it's based on the book Erasure. And that book Erasure was written by a guy who attacked, in that book, the book Erasure was written to attack certain Black writers that I admire. So I tell people, do two things. Love American Fiction. It's a great movie. But the book itself, I'm a Richard Wright student, right? Richard Wright, a writer from Mississippi, whom I love. He's one of the reasons why I became a writer. I can't rock with you because you feel like your Blackness is such that you got to attack another Black writer because he doesn't write in your style. And so that was one of the issues I had. And I've been struggling with the newsletter to write about American Fiction because I don't want to distract from American Fiction, this brilliant movie, by talking about Erasure, the book on which it's based. But I want to reiterate, American Fiction is a great movie, but it's based on a book that, for me, attacked Richard Wright, one of the greatest writers America has produced, simply because one Black man had a different perspective of Blackness. And I think I get tired of that just because you're not Black like me, I'm going to attack you so my Blackness can be on display and yours can't. I'll shut up.
Wow, so I didn't know nothing about that, but okay.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't either, Steve. Yeah, I mean, but it's actually a really brilliant film, and I don't want, and like, so it's not for me. This is me personally. I think it's important to support films that have Black lead actors in them, and Jeffrey Wright is the lead. Issa Rae is another, like, I guess, considered a co-lead. And Erica Alexander from Living Single is in it. Like, she's incredible. She does an amazing job. So I really want to support those actors in particular. I know that this week on social media, there was a clip of, why am I forgetting her name?
Taraji.
Taraji, yes, Taraji broke down in an interview talking about, how much time and energy and work that she's put in and how she constantly has to reprove herself when she's proven herself time and time again, and she's not getting paid equitably with, white actors. So, like, again, I think it's important for us to support Black actors in a industry that really doesn't support them. So we have to kind of vote with our dollars. And I just, Jeffrey Wright, I think, is one of our best actors, alive. And so that's the reason why it's important for me to support his vehicle.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. All right. Going back to the article, it says, in other ways, however, the movie may only add to the mystery surrounding Prince. And I think this turned out to be true, that the movie only added to the mystery surrounding Prince. Is the oft inebriated mother in the movie anything like his real mother? I don't think so, from all accounts that I know about. Is his wife-beating father anything like his real father? I don't think so. I've never heard anything like that. Other events are clearly contrived. What suspense there is hinges on a sort of battle of the bands waged between Prince and The Time. In real life, a flashy rival funk band from the city. In the movie, Prince and The Time battle for their jobs at the local club, with The Time's leader, Morris Day, also waging a war with Prince for the affections of the beautiful Apollonia. Now, sometimes it's really hard reading these articles, not knowing what the people who write these articles know, because I'm curious to know if this author knows that The Time is actually Prince and Morris, or if they think that The Time is actually, of course they were a real live performance band, but in terms of in the studio, we all know it's Prince and Morris. But does this person know? So should we be surprised by who wins? True to Prince's musical obsession with sex, the script by Glenn, who wrote the celebrated Brian song, I always forget about that, and is executive producer of the famed TV series. I didn't realize that William Glenn was the producer of the famed TV series, included several explicit scenes, all toned down. The producer's apparently anxious for a PG rating. That'll be a switch for Prince, who has never been a family act. I like that sentence. Since his first album in 1978, his funky high-tech songs have been loaded with increasingly stronger doses of sex. He's appeared on stage in bikini and raincoat. Not that he has offended the rock masses. Each of his 5 albums have been more successful than the last. His most recent, 1999, has sold more than 1 million copies. For a possible switch, Glenn referred to the fall away scene, ending the climactic "A Star Is Born" scene in which Prince sings the title song "Purple Rain." Now, I never saw "A Star Is Born." Did Celia or Michael? Did you?
Yeah, I saw the original. I saw the original and feel bad that I've never seen the remake with Dave Chappelle.
I've only seen the remake, and it was quite good. I was shockingly surprised.
Yeah. And so, I mean, is it similar to Purple Rain in the way that it ends?
The original, I mean, it has the "This Is Your Moment" climax song. So in that, yeah. But let me put it to you this way. This may sound jaded. I remember when 8 Mile came out, and somebody asked me, they said, "You going to see 8 Mile?" I said, "I already saw it." They said, "What do you mean?" I saw "Star Is Born," I saw "Purple Rain," I saw "Breaking," I saw "Beat Street," 8 Mile. Like they all kind of follow the narrative of the struggling kids trying to overcome internal and external forces. And "I'm ready for my scene, Mr. DeMille," and they get the shot, and it's and we clap, and everything goes. So in that, it follows that kind of narrative when they have the song and "The Star Is Born," and they made it to the top.
This is an interesting comment from Chris. Thank you so much. So there's the 70s remake with Barbra Streisand and Chris Christopherson of "A Star Is Born," and Lisa Coleman said Prince had a poster from that version on his wall when she first met him.
I thought that was the original version.
Right.
I've never seen that, but I remember the iconic, like it was everywhere as a kid. But I saw the one with Lady Gaga's in the new one. I believe.
Yeah, Lady Gaga. Yeah, I think you're right, Michael. I do think that the Chris Christopherson, Barbra Streisand one is the original. Is that right?
No, Judy Garland. Judy Garland was in the original. Yeah, 1937, I believe. 1937, Judy Garland. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
Judy Garland.
Yep, the chat is coming through. There's a 50s version with Judy Garland and one.
Yeah.
54.
Yeah.
Man, it's old school.
Yeah, that's like I said. That's why I say when people say, "You going to see 8 Mile?" I've kind of seen 8 Mile 8-9 times before 8 Mile. So
Yep.
And that's not me crapping on 8 Mile. 8 Mile is I'm not a hip hop head, but I like the movie 8 Mile. But it's the same kind of struggle, climactic one.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. So it says Prince has performed the song publicly once, as we know, at First Avenue during a benefit performance last summer. A member of the music industry who heard it described it as more like something that would be done by Bob Dylan or the band than anything that Prince has done. So
Interesting.
this is really interesting that this person has never heard the song Purple Rain yet because the film's not out.
Right.
Soundtrack's not out. And so they only can go by what they've heard someone else. So that's really interesting. The word mum has extended in its most creative form to the, I can't pronounce that word, 19-year-old Patty Cotero. The producers weren't shy about conducting the traditional nationwide search, they say, for Prince's love interest in the movie. But once they found her, the spotlight was quickly dimmed in terms of the search. Even Cotero's name is an official secret. Unlike the other main figures in the movie, Cotero doesn't play herself. In the glimpsed script, the love interest was to have been played by Vanity, the leader of Vanity Six, the lingerie-clad vocal trio that Prince produced and took on the road. But problems developed. Some say it was Vanity's vanity. Okay. The word from the set is that she wanted too much money, which I think that's really the real reason, and other stuff too. Others says she had some kind of disagreement with Prince. Whatever. Vanity wound up in Los Angeles to pursue a film career. Cotero was brought in, and the name of the love interest was changed from Vanity to Apollonia. Recall, that was the name of Al Pacino's first and ill-fated wife in The Godfather. The problem of having just one main character playing someone other than herself was quickly fixed. Non-publicity agents for the movie report that Cotero has officially changed her name to Apollonia. Now, is this true? Did she officially change her name? I guess she did. I don't know. If a scene glimpsed before this reporter was disinvited from the set is any indication, Cotero would be shown to good effect in the likes of Boots, garter belts, and various peekaboo jobs. While Cotero's physical attributes seem unassailable, some questions as to her acting ability have been raised. City Pages, a local weekly newspaper, scored the first blackout breakthrough with an interview with Prince's stand-in. Remember, we saw pictures of Prince's stand-in a couple weeks ago, or maybe longer than that. A freelance photographer named Byron Hector. Hector was quoted as having said, "Cotero can't act to save her life." That's in quotes.
Damn.
Wow.
I'm reading the article. Hector's association with the production ended soon after the presses rolled. So I guess they found out about this interview and he got axed. Hector wasn't able to offer much insight into the words and deeds of Prince himself. During the 2 days that this reporter was allowed on the set, the star of Purple Rain was observed only in a downtown dive that was serving as the production's canteen. Prince was concentrating on his pool game. Of course, Prince would be playing pool. 8-ball, which is pretty good. Anyone who got too close was glared away by his tattooed bodyguard, which we all know is Big Chick. Prince did occasionally wander outside when he stood shivering as he watched Morris Day play a scene in which he courts Apollonia with flowers and sweet talk from beneath the window of her hotel room. Prince was not observed in his acting mode. I love this part of this article, just knowing that Prince was, playing some pool, came out the pool hall to see what was going on with, Morris Day and Apollonia. I like these little tidbits of knowing that, he was definitely there. Whether any of the stars possess much histrionic ability must await release of the film, but Prince and his band spent 3 months being prepared for the movie by Don Amendolia, an actor-director who was in Minneapolis during the summer to direct a play, Cloud 9, at the Cricket Theater, and led Prince and the band in theater improvisational games 3 times a week. He starred in the original New York company of Cloud 9 and directed the Los Angeles production of the LA Stage Company West. He, Prince, was very good, says Amendolia. I expect he'll be wonderful. He's not a dummy at all. Okay. And he doesn't involve himself in something he doesn't think he'll do well. I think they'll all be, hold on a second. Got to get the rest of the article. And I got to make it big for my little eyes. Good. They're performers. Oh, they'll all be good. They're performers anyway. And they're very strong personalities. I love this comment. They're performers anyway, meaning that Morris and everybody else, and they're very strong personalities. The film's director, Al McNally, 30, comes fresh from serving as an editor on Reckless, due out in February from MGM United Artists. The producers are Prince's managers, Bob Cavallo, Joe Ruffalo, and Steve Fargnoli, even though in this article it says Steve Sargnoli with an S, it's supposed to be Fargnoli, who have managed Earth, Wind, and Fire, Weather Report, The Loving Spoonful, and Little Feat. This is their first film venture for which they reportedly raised $6 million. Warner Brothers has been negotiating for distribution rights, which comes as no surprise since Prince records for Warner Brothers Records. They say they plan to release in the spring, which would be a neat trick considering that the 2 months of filming won't be completed until the end of the year. The crew is putting in 12-hour days and the movie is being edited as it goes. Now, I didn't know that the movie, but this makes a lot of sense actually, because the turnaround time was actually pretty tight. So they probably were editing it as they went along. And it says, I'm almost done. Prince has proved he can broaden his following from the narrow R&B audience to the mainstream of rock. The question is, can he win the movie-going crowd while retaining his blend of funk and sex? It's totally a Prince movie, Blend said in a telephone interview. They want it to be good on their terms and honest to what it is that Prince portrays, and at that same time have commercial clout. They want this picture to play in Westwood. And I'm assuming Westwood is predominantly white audience. Blend had numerous meetings with Prince and watched him perform. We spent 2 or 3 days together in Minneapolis with him trying to get across what he had in mind and me trying to understand it. Blend and Prince apparently had some I can't say that, differences. He's an enigma, Blend said. He wants to communicate, but he doesn't want you to get too close. Eventually, Blend's script called Dreams was rewritten by Magnolia into Purple Rain. He had asked at one point for the word purple in the title. Blend explained he just feels that purple is his color. He was talking about some kind of emotional contact with purple. And that's the end of the article. And it says Gelfand is a Minneapolis journalist. So this appeared in the Los Angeles Times, but it was written by a Minneapolis journalist. So I really like that article. It was a lot of interesting detail in there. And yes, Apple on his birth name is Patricia Cotero. Let's see.
You know, I'll tell you what I find interesting about that article. And I'll be interested on both of y'all taking, of course, and everybody's taking the chat, but so at that age, I was a rock kid because I was a blues kid. Right? I was a blues kid, and so the natural progression, when I say a rock kid, I don't mean just of that time. Like by 82, 83, I was already a 50s rock and roll doo-wop lover. I had 45s of records that were released in the 50s, right? That was my thing. But even though that's who I was, coming back to this article, I was not aware of or consciously thinking about my favorite Black artists crossing over. So it's and I wonder if that was because I was younger. I knew about crossover. I knew that there were Black artists that got big and white people liked them, but in real time, right? Reading that, and I hadn't read that article, but in real time, just hearing about, it's clear that this whole project for everybody involved, this is going to be the mainstream project. This is going to be, and I just remember in real time being a Prince fan by then, hadn't already seen Prince 3 times live before Purple Rain. Not thinking about that this vehicle, and then of course watching on the other end, right, some of the backlash that it's too pop, Prince is selling out. But just kind of in real time, knowing that, you know, it was like, okay, Prince got a movie coming out. You know, you heard, you know, rumors, Prince got a movie coming out, then you heard, oh, it's gonna have an X rating. But coming from a background like mine, not thinking about, and it's just interesting to hear from other Black people's perspective at that time about where their head was about the need for Black people to cross. So like for me, and maybe because both my parents, particularly my father, worked in the movement, but my father who worked in the movement took a more Black nationalist approach. That what they were trying to do was be desegregated, not necessarily integrated. As my father said, we were just trying to keep white folks from lynching us, son. Weren't interested in going to their neighborhoods. Weren't interested. So maybe that's part of it too. But it's just in real time. I wasn't going to the movie or listening to the album thinking, "Oh, this gonna get my boy. He gonna go." You know, I wasn't thinking that. Again, I go in a all Black neighborhood. Everybody in the theater looks like me. Everybody in the theater is having a great time. So it never dawned on me in a movie theater, with how many ever Black people in that movie theater, this never dawned on me that this is the crossover movie or this is the crossover project, though clearly it was. And I'll shut up and see what you guys think on that is.
I would say I don't think anybody thought about that back then. I think that was kind of the norm. You know, I would use not only Prince as an example of that, but I think the appearance of Michael Jackson speaks to that. The changing appearance, me not knowing why he's doing that, just you would see him and then another year later you'd see him and it was something obviously different, but I couldn't in my mind figure out, wow, he looks different. I didn't know why. I didn't know he was a nose change because I didn't know about that, or maybe his skin was, I just didn't understand, but I knew he would tend to look whiter and whiter every time I seen him. I didn't think about that for a long time. As I'm older now, I'm like, wow, I understand what's going on with that. Same way with Prince looking at it now. Yeah, I can understand this was his play for the mainstream. I'm at the sense right now. I wish he didn't have to even think like that.
Right.
I wish that wasn't a thing. I wish he could have just stayed on whatever his thing was, not having to say, well, I want to do this because I know it's going to attract that audience. Something like Little Red Corvette. Brilliant song, but I wish he didn't have the need to even think of, let me do something that they will like, as opposed to him just doing what he is into. And Purple Rain, I think too, seeing that on the screen, seeing a Black movie with younger people on the screen, that was the allure of it as well. Like we just really never seen that energy on screen before. So you kind of look past if he had to sort of tone it down a little bit, because the visual of Morris, the visual of Prince on that big screen, the visual of seeing Apollonia, a woman like that on the big screen at that age, for me, I was like, wow, I've never seen somebody that looks as beautiful as these people, and they got their own style and everything. That was a part of the allure. Take away the music or whatever, just the energy that they had, which was Black energy at that time of young people doing their thing. So I think that too sort of glazed over the fact that maybe Prince does have to tone it down a little bit. And frankly, at that point, I wasn't familiar with Prince enough to know it was being toned down. This was my introduction, you know. So I just was like, I had heard of him, but now to see it, okay, I heard it was some sexual thing. I can see that on display, but I didn't know it was a toned down necessary version. And then I can see the differences of why he's probably also wrestling after the success of this, why a certain segment of his audience is like, oh, you're not Black enough. And then he has to, he's wrestling with that. I hate that he had to waste time with that, but that was what was going on at that time. So yeah, go ahead.
I want to speak to, and this is not me. I hate to use, well, I don't hate to, well, okay. So a lot of people are putting in the chat that Mike had vitiligo.
And I know that. I
No, no,
understand
no, no,
that.
Mike, no, no, Mike,
That's
no,
what I'm
no,
saying.
Mike.
There
No,
wasn't
no,
a good like
no,
of the nose change.
no. Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Here's the only thing I'll say to everybody who is saying that. Go Google the lyrics, the original lyrics to Jermaine Jackson's song "Word to the Bad." The original lyrics, not the ones that made the actual album, and they're out there. Because the original lyrics to Jermaine Jackson's "Word to the Bad," this is the original lyric. First, you were made, then change your shade. Was your color wrong? So that is a lyric by Michael Jackson's brother, who is questioning his own brother about the change in his shade. Now, I'm not saying whether or not he had that, but I do think that speaks to the point that Brother Dean was making when you add the nose change and you add that was definitely in this time a super move toward integration, where lighter has always been the thing that has allowed Black people to win acceptance from white mainstream. Let's be clear. Black people, we change and texturize our hair because we were taught that we had bad hair. We lighten our skin because we thought that black was wrong. So we're not saying here that he didn't have vitiligo. We're saying that it was clear that a lot of people during that time was doing things that were unnatural to make themselves more appealing to a white mainstream. That's just the truth of it.
Yes, and I wasn't paying attention to the chat, but I'm not going in on Mike's skin color. Now, I'm a Michael Jackson fan. I'm just saying that every time you would see his appearance, it was changing. Yes, he had the vitiligo, but also I'm just saying in terms of the structure of his face, there's a difference the way he looked versus the way he looked back in the days. I didn't understand what was going on when he was doing. I thought he looked cool though. I was like, wow. I'm caught up in, the nose has to be a certain way. Like that's just a subconscious thing in my mind. I'm not thinking about why I think that way. And I started to notice, like, yeah, he got the nose popping, but I would see the brothers and some of them don't. Some of them started getting the nose thing too. But I'm just saying and it's not just Michael Jackson as Prince. There was a lot of artists that had to kind of get that androgyny type of thing. And I saw a lot of Black artists moving that way. Hell, they had a lock on the community. You see Dr. Dre and them people in the streets was doing that. That was the style.
What's the name of that group he was in?
World Class Record.
If you look at the picture of the World Class Wrecking Crew, that is the androgynous kind of mainstreaming, moving toward being less black, less male.
Yeah.
And I'll add, and people correct me, what does Prince say in My Name is Prince? Because when women and fancy clothes may change your face, but it won't save your soul. I always wondered about the change your face line, to whom or what he was referring.
And yes, Claude, I noticed the George Benson thing. My mom was a huge George Benson fan. I remember seeing the early records like, wow, he looked totally different. But that's still my man. Turn your love around.
All right. So we're going to keep it moving because we already an hour in. We haven't made it too far, but we're going to keep moving. We're going to keep busting. All right. So we're on day 32, which is December 8th. And Interior Club, dance floor and bar area, nighttime, Apollonia and Prince, eyes meet. Jill gives her card to fill out. Apollonia talks to Prince as he knows his card. We know this. Interior Club, upper bar area, nighttime. Apollonia smashes in Jill. Dialogue. She follows Jill. We know this. Interior Club, upper level, night. Apollonia talks to Billy about a job. Jerome intercedes, and they exit.
That's
that
the
again,
scene
Mike?
I want to see that scene.
Yeah, I want to see this scene too. So yeah, also just seeing, Jerome and Billy, if there's any sort of interaction. Big Chick is also in the scene. And then there's waitresses and bartenders, and props are smokes, drinks, Billy's watch, which I love. So he probably looks at his watch like, I ain't got time for this. Lighter, and then what is that? Bits, modern airs. I don't know what bits means. BITS. Does anybody know in film lingo? Next scene, interior club stage area, nighttime. Morris and Time perform, others eyeball each other. Prince splits, Apollonia exits. That's during Jungle Love. Interior club, backstage to stage to floor, nighttime. Prince and group wait to go on. Prince sees Apollonia as Morris and Jerome approach her. The song is Modern Airs. Next scene, interior club, stage area, nighttime. Kim berates Jill as Modernaires perform. Bobby and Matt join in. This would be an interesting scene to see Kim Upshur talking to Jill, because that doesn't happen. And then maybe Bobby and Matt get more, film screen footage. So we got props, smokes, drinks, bits, Modernaires band. You want to say what bits is yet in the chat? I don't know what that means.
Yeah, they say they think it's like a routine.
Okay. It can be like a routine. Okay. Got it. But I wonder why it's affiliated with the songs though. It is like the Modernaire band. I don't know. All right. And then so the next scene, interior club, Apollonia's table. Apollonia has champagne with Morris and Jerome. Prince and group play. Morris comments. And in the music is Electric Intercourse and G-Spot, which would have been amazing to see Electric Intercourse and G-Spot and Purple Rain. So I would love to see this scene with Electric Intercourse and G-Spot. There's a lot of folks that I won't read in the scene. And then the next scene, interior club, night. Prince does act with Wendy. Billy mad. Prince plays dad's music. Audience fidgets. And the music is Computer Blue. So, I guess we see that.
So the bit with Wendy has to be the infamous scene when she gets on her knees.
Yeah. Yep. And let's see, next scene, interior club, stage and floor area, nighttime. Prince plays. Apollonia and group talk with Billy. Apollonia affected by lyrics. Prince exits stage after number, and it's playback of Computer Blue and Darling Nikki. Now,
I'm sorry.
Sure.
The bit with Wendy. What is that? What was that supposed to mean though? In Computer Blue, when she's on her knees, like, I mean, I know what I mean, but what was that supposed to imply? To like he was having sex with the band or something? Like, I don't.
No, I think he was just trying to. This is the way I interpreted it in real time. I haven't really thought about it since then, but I always, because this is cemented in my mind as he's trying to show Apollonia like what she's good for. Because he's upset for it, So that's how I always interpreted the scene. Yeah. That part. So, what about you?
I wonder what Wendy's character is supposed to be thinking. Is that what she thinks, or is that just a part of the? It was like did they practice that? And like, okay, I'm going to do this.
Well, I took it as, if you look like the song and the lyrics and the kind of robotic stimulation, and it's so Computer Blue is in that. So all these songs are Prince moving from the physical to the metaphysical, right? So if you look at these songs, there's this battle, this tension between this character trying to find pleasure in the physical, and he's not getting the ultimate internal satisfaction. So he eventually abandons that and embraces the metaphysical. And so the transition is Computer Blue and Darling Nikki. So Computer Blue begins in the intimate, the sensual, the romance, goes to the sexual then completely played out in Darling Nikki, but at the end of the orgasm, he finds he's still empty. And so Purple Rain is the revolution that at the end, that I'm having all these orgasms, but I'm empty. And so Wendy's place in that role is the mindless female that he's connecting with physically, but not connecting with emotionally, which then becomes a climax as Apollonia's character runs out, right? That he's showing that I'm running these people away from me. I'm pushing them away rather than bringing them toward me. So Computer Blue is the climax of trying to find this inner peace with the physical, using women in a more physical way, but not connecting with them. And notice Wendy is very robotic. Like, think about the beginning of the song is very robotic, right? It's this very kind of robotic physical stimulation, and where the character, we'll just say the kid for the character of the speaker, is finding that the physicality is not yielding the metaphysical thing for which he's seeking. And I think Wendy's role in that is showing that she's basically the stock character in you're not getting out of this what you need.
Wow. Okay.
So I had a different interpretation. My thing is kind of like Wendy was part of Prince's band, a la Prince's crew. And, you know, when you have a crew, they take sides. And Prince was kind of egging her on to help me show this girl that just came into, you know, his life that, you know, she ain't all that. You know what I mean? And also that, you know what I mean? That's kind of what I got out of it. But that's me in real time, not really thinking about it, to be honest.
No, but I think that works because he's definitely giving like a literal and a metaphysical, a literal and a metaphoric, right? Because we know that Darling Nikki, if we follow that line of reasoning, Darling Nikki is directly related to Apollonia. So we know that, right? So you I think that you're right on in that, and that what he's finding in that I'm going to do that, and I didn't get from it what I expect. It's like if I go off on you, D'Angelo, but then I don't feel better. And so Purple Rain is him realizing like, man, what I'm doing is not working. And I need to, and if I keep doing this, I'm going to end up like my father. And I don't want to end up like my father, which is where we get him seeing himself committing suicide if I continue down this road of not connecting emotionally with people, if I continue down this road of not connecting spiritually with people, then I'm going to end just as chaotic and probably more fatal than my own father.
You know, it's funny. Only Prince could mean all that you said, but the demonstration is get down on your knees.
Right.
That's game.
Right.
That's a wild.
First things first.
Lord.
First things first. All right. So next scene, stage and floor area. Night, the time performs. Crowd goes wild. And this is for the bird. And let's see. I can hear myself repeating now a little bit, but not a lot. Just FYI. I don't know if anybody else does. Yeah. Okay. Interior club, stage and floor area. Night, Prince intros and does Purple Rain. Audience mesmerized. Apollonia and Billy react. Applause. And the song is Purple Rain. Interior club, backstage area. Night, Morris and the Time. Past fans jubilant. I wonder what's going on here. It says props, smokes, drinks, special effects, smoke. Brenda and Susan are also in this scene. I don't know, because there's no song in this scene. So I would be curious what that scene is. But it's it's in the backstage area. Because we never see Brenda or Susan in the backstage of First Avenue in Purple Rain. So I would love to see that. Next scene.
Question, as you mentioned, is I can't remember. You know, in the beginning of the movie when Prince rides the motorcycle past First Avenue and everybody's does he has on the Purple Rain jacket, But does he have
Mhm.
on the same clothes that he performed in Purple Rain, or does he have the Let's Go Crazy clothes on? I can't, because I'm almost
Well,
thinking I
first,
wonder if that scene is actually was shot to be after the Purple Rain performance, but somehow they edited to make it look like it was a montage earlier in the movie. But I can't remember what he had on underneath that jacket. Was it the Purple Rain outfit or the Let's Go?
That's a good question because I think his pants, if his pants were white, then that would have been the Let's Go Crazy outfit, right? Because in the Let's Go Crazy outfit, he had the purple vest, the white shirt, and the white pants. So yeah, so if the pants are white, that would have been that Let's Go Crazy
Okay.
outfit. So you're right.
but the thing is, I know that. Well, I always heard that was a stunt double who did the motorcycle pass.
No, I mean when he first, because you see his face, like when he first goes by and they go and if you ever look closely, somebody throws some glitter over him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm
Look
thinking of
good.
a different scene. I'm thinking of a different scene. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the scene
Yeah.
during the day when he
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, and you
Yeah,
only
yeah.
see his back.
Right.
He's the one right in
And
front of the First Avenue at the beginning of the movie.
got
Yeah.
it.
He passed by, and I was wondering, like, why are they cheering?
Yeah.
For
So
him?
if he's wearing white pants, that's shot sometime either before or after the Let's Go Crazy. That's connected to either before. And I took it as, since the line was there, I took it as he was arriving to the show. Because
That's
if you're in a line, so I took it that, okay, here comes the star of the show. Right. Which kind of works with what Billy is saying, that Billy's frustration with Prince is, dude, you messing it up. Like I'm giving you the layup, right? I'm setting you up to be the next star, but you bringing me all this crazy stuff that ain't nobody trying to hear, right? So it really kind of linked in with you can be there, you can get there, but your personal psychological stuff is messing up your game.
Mm-hmm. He had on the white pants. Okay.
Yeah. Renee, I don't know if you're talking about what we're talking about, but all of these are being saved on YouTube. So as long as YouTube survives, our conversations will persist. All right, so let's go to interior hallway and stage and club night. Prince rushes along hallway onto stage. Crowd wowed. Plays song. The song is "I Would Die for You." There's a crane. Why do they need a crane? Is there a crane for "I Would Die for You"? Camera Panaglide. Smoke. I can't wait to watch Purple Rain again after we've done this, because I'm going to be looking more intently now. Props, glasses, drinks, and smokes, because I don't remember them needing a crane for "I Would Die for You." That's really interesting. Okay. And next, interior club, stage and floor. Prince sings "I Would Die for You," a triumph. Audience loves it, dances and applauds. Apollonia Morris and Jerome react, and then they underscore the end, even though this isn't the last scene that they shoot. And then they have, let's see if they have anything interesting in here. Playback, "I Would Die for You," and "Baby, I'm a Star." Smoke, glasses, earring. The earring is important because you remember he flashes the earring to Apollonia. Smokes and drinks. Interior club, backstage area. Night, Morris cruises girls.
Okay. I know I'm wrong. In real time, this is a question just for the ladies. In real time, watching the movie, cause my uncles them was like, this dude getting over like a fat rat. So Apollonia spends her last to get this dude a brand new guitar. And he repays her with a dusty ass earring. My question is, if he got a guitar and she got a dusty ass earring, are you as happy as Apollonia? Cause she was happy as hell to get that earring. Don't act like she wasn't. You know, cause she threw her earrings away. Don't forget. Remember, please put it in. She chucked her earrings. So I just want to know to the other sisters in the chat, if y'all feel the same way Apollonia about her getting that earring as she did. Because I'm like, boy, that's one powerful earring now.
So we got it as a response from Tanja. And Tanja says, math ain't mathin'.
Hilarious.
Another shout out back to Taraji, because that came up in that interview. And Becky is laughing.
All right, Sister Becky. So it wasn't just the earring, huh? The earring was symbolic of what else she got, huh?
Hilarious.
And Just Rule says, constantly use that against my girlfriend. She owes me a royal blue Fender Strat. And Mila is saying, no, she was goofy for that.
Well, she was goofy the moment she jumped in that water.
There you go. There you go.
Butt ass naked and didn't even know.
You knew he had it in, huh?
Yeah, out in the wilderness. That's where that's the red flag. Right? Once she did that, he was like, oh, shit, I can go ahead and do whatever.
There you go.
Whatever I want. She wanted him. Put this on and sing. Lord.
There you go, Blade. Hey, Blade Brown. Highlight Blade Brown. That's the perfect Eddie Murphy response, right? What Eddie Murphy say? Once you make him go, ooh, I got this now.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. The characters were young.
You're right, Chris. You're right, Chris. You're right. I'm being facetious. You're right, Chris. Because look, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Like in my teens, I didn't give out some dusty, rusty gifts myself. Like I ain't gonna sit here and act like that. We're not gonna talk about the girl I gave a necklace to and her neck turned green. I ain't gonna sit here and act like I ain't never gave out no fake jewelry before when I was in my teens.
I love Audra.
She took her guitar with her.
Yeah.
Took that back to the pawn shop.
There you go.
Basically, she got.
I'm sorry about that tangent. I was just when the earring kept coming back, I was like, yeah.
No, I'm glad you brought it up. It's it's a through line of the entire script. So, all right. So let's see. They're really shooting out of they always shoot films out of order, but it's interesting to see these extra scenes they filmed after the finale of I Would Die for You and Baby I'm a Star. So we were saying that Morris cruises girls. Jerome points out Apollonia at her table. Bits again is Modernaires, and music is Modernaires' song OS. Thinking OS stands for original soundtrack, so maybe OS. Am I wrong? I need a film person here. Stage and bar area. Next scene. Interior. Day. Prince looks for Apollonia's card. Jill gives him a cassette. We know this scene. I love that the props are push pins. I have a thing for push pins. And then interior club. Day. Girls play for Prince. He's bummed out. Wendy pissed. And we know the playback is G-Spot and Let's Get Crazy. This is a different one because I thought they were playing Purple Rain. I thought this is what they were referring to, but they're saying that the music is G-Spot and Let's Get Crazy. And electrical light changes. Props, glasses, chairs, glasses and bottles, brooms, sweeping compound, and rags. Okay, I don't know about that. I don't think we got that thing.
Yep. When Prince arrives late, what are they playing when Prince arrives late? What's the? Because remember, Wendy and them, they not there. What were they playing?
Computer Blue Groove.
Yeah, see, that's what I wanted to know. Was that Computer Blue or was that Let's Go Crazy? I could never catch what that groove was they were playing late.
I could never. I love it. I don't think it's Computer Blue, but I could be wrong. But it's that dun, 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 dun.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then now Mark is like marking. You know, so, dun, 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 dun. Yeah, boom, boom. Yeah.
So, Brother Dean, we know that was another moment when D'Angelo went, how come that ain't on the soundtrack?
Right.
Exactly. Yes, you don't want to get me started. Like all the incidental.
Yeah, that's another. Got this beautiful
That is
one.
Computer Blue.
Yeah. They couldn't put that on the soundtrack.
It's Computer Blue though.
Is it? Okay.
They're just jamming on it, but it is, yeah. It sounds like they're playing it at that, like right there live. But I mean, I don't know that for a fact.
Okay. Yeah, everyone is saying it's Computer Blue. Oh, thank you, Tracy. So Tracy's here. Tracy's saying, just jumping in here, OS and crane may be a camera position or direction. Over. Thank you, Tracy. You're the best. All right. And then, yeah, everybody's saying it's Computer Blue. Yes, we can't say G-Spot without thinking about Jill Jones. We love Jill, and we love her version of G-Spot. And yeah, so the article we just read was from the LA Times, and it was December of 1983, December the 11th specifically. El Michelle says, didn't you get more than the earring though? The stroke probably was real.
Oh.
Got that purple
you know, I'm gonna let her have that mic drop. I'm gonna let her have that one. I will say this, and if I go too far, I will cause put that back up there. Put that back up there. Now, I will say this, and I want y'all to know this ain't coming from me. This is coming from my wife. Cause you know, at that time, you know, there were all the different kind of rumors. You know, controversy been out. Is he gay? Is he not gay? This, that, and other. My wife said when she went to see Purple Rain, she said that scene when he was behind Apollonia and put his hand where it meant to be, she said, he knows the hell he doing. I'm gonna go with the masculinity. So she said she left Purple Rain thinking, he ain't gay. So, you know, but El Michelle.
Okay. And then I love this this comment. I missed it earlier from Keith. Thank you so much, Keith Upchurch. The earring Prince gave to Apollonia in the original script was his mother's hoop earring. I keep forgetting that. So that's the reason why the earring was so important. It was his mother's hoop earring. So we got to put some respect on that earring, Silly. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Okay. How are we doing? We're doing pretty good, actually. Okay. So we talked about that. Okay. Next scene, interior club, daytime. Prince arrives late. Chick says Billy to see him. We know that scene. I love makeup says Prince is haggard. When is Prince haggard? Prince didn't look haggard in that scene, but that's what they have. I'm sure Prince saw this and said, I don't want to be haggard either. So, okay. It didn't work. All right. So I found this somewhere online, or actually my husband probably sent this to me. And it's just Friday, December 16th, 1983. So we have some specificity around some of the scenes. I'm not going to read this, but it's in the slide deck for those of you who want to read it. Also, we found this petty cash for $300 for December 16th of 1983. PRN production approved by, I don't know if who that signature is supposed to be. It doesn't look like Prince's. And it looks like Trudy Frederick did that. And then this is a call sheet that we found for Friday, December 16th. And you can see that makeup for Prince was at 6:45 a.m. Makeup for Apollonia was at 7:30 a.m. And set call for Prince was 8:15 a.m. And Apollonia's set call was 9 a.m. And everybody else was on hold. And the remark says something about flying cloud for Prince. And then For Apollonia, it says PJ at hotel, and I don't know if PJ is a person. PJ at hotel at 7th Avenue. And all right, next scene. This is Saturday, December 17th. We already talked about the shoe sign stand. The next scene is the last week. The taste was exterior scene, nighttime. Billy drives up and enters the club. I just love seeing Billy walking. I would love this. As soon as that sounds, I would love to see Billy walking into the club. Props or smokes, transportation. He drives up in a BMW, and it says 6 cabs, special effects, wet down and steam, and Billy's babe with him. So we got Billy's babes with him, and we got a stand-in, a doorman, and a parking valet. And okay, Kim says it looks like a Prince P to me. It sort of looks like a Prince P to me too, but I don't know because I don't know. So yeah, we're going back to the petty cash signature. That's what we're talking about. Thanks, Kim, for I think it is, but I don't know. So yeah, okay. All right, this is from the Star Tribune. This is from December 18th, 1983, that Sunday. It says, Prince and his cast and crew for the film Purple Rain finished shooting their concert scenes last week at First Avenue. The filming is expected to be wrapped up this week at a studio in Eden Prairie. So this is the only thing I've found so far that sort of verifies that they're probably done with filming this week, because the filming ends on a Thursday. So I was trying to figure out if they did any additional shooting on Friday and Saturday. Not from the shooting script that I have. Okay, thank you, Tracy. Tracy's coming in with the film info that we need. Petty cash is usually handled by production coordinator or manager, so it might not be a Prince P. Thank you, Tracy. I really appreciate it, because I was like, I don't know. I've never seen Prince do that before with his signature, so I don't know.
I just say that petty cash budget can go a long way if you've ever had to deal with one. So I've been in a lot of projects, and I said, thank God for petty cash. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. So if you're ever working with something, treat the person that's over petty cash right. That's all I'm gonna say to you. You can be a jerk to everybody else. Do not be a jerk
to the petty
cash person. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's right. All right, so I want to read a couple comments. So Monair is saying that since PR was based on real life, and I don't think it's loosely. I don't really think it's based. I don't see it as autobiographical at all. I think that was just, I don't know. I just think it's a construction. That's me personally. How do you guys feel about this? Like, do you think it's even loosely based?
Yeah, and this may be more literary criticism than you want. I think that all art is kind of what Sigmund Freud said, that in all art, what you are doing is tapping into the innermost psychosis of your brain and then fictionalizing on top of that. So I think that, like you say, Purple Rain was an extreme fictionalization of them having conversations with Prince. Because what they knew was that they had to build a story around something that was believable. Keep in mind, remember the Warner Brothers executives freak out when they show up doing filming and they see Prince dressed like Prince, and they're like, why the hell is he dressed like that? Which I thought was odd, because he was their artist. Like if anybody would have, but so that just shows you that even the Warner Brothers executives were not quite in touch with the artists that they had. So I think that just like most people create, whether I'm writing a poem or a short story, it's so that loosely based thing, is we're gonna take, and what we're doing is we take emotional truths and we then build fictionalized things around emotional truths. And that is the best way I can talk about, say, fictional art. That's it.
And then Drea Dances also says loosely based on his and Vanity's life with the parents, I think. So I want to go back to this comment, Monair's comment. So Monair says, since Purple Rain was based on real life. The hoop earring, and I don't know where I heard or read this, was actually his mother's in real life. He wore that earring later as well. Did you guys hear anything to that effect?
I didn't. You know, he wore the earring, but I just thought that Prince was a master at typography. Prince was a master of semantics, and particularly physical semantics. He was the master of using his body as a subtext imagery. And so the wearing of the earring continues that narrative with things with which you can associate. Think about the Around the World in a Day album cover. The brilliance about the Around the World in a Day album cover is that it's doing two things at once. It's moving Prince forward from the Purple Rain imagery while also keeping intact a lot of the imagery from Purple Rain. So what Prince is a master of doing is, I'm going to take you somewhere new, but I'm going to anchor you in something that you know, sort of feel familiar with you, so that you're not too thrown off by this new place I want to take you. So I took the wearing of the earring as him just continuing his way in which he manipulates signs and symbols with his whole body. That's it.
All right. And then there was one more comment I want to make sure we talked about from Chris Bornia. It's interesting that the movie portrayed a Black man as being the club manager of First Avenue, given that Black artists didn't always feel welcome there. I love that comment.
That's actually interesting because I wonder how First Avenue took that.
God, that'd be interesting. That'd be interesting. Did you guys ever see the? And I saw it was on MTV. I don't know if the guy was the owner of First Avenue or if he was the manager of First Avenue. My neck turned yet. Yeah. Sister Blackwell, on behalf of all the brothers like me who gave out cheap jewelry in high school, I apologize. I apologize for any sister neck we turned green. I'm sorry. We apologize. Just for every brother who ever gave a sister some cheap jewelry that turned their neck or their wrist or their earlobes green. We sorry. That's all the brother had. I mean, I went down to the dime store place. You know, it was in the gumball machine. I put the money in. The earrings came out. Happy Valentine's Day, baby. I was thinking about you. Maybe I should have gave you the bubble gum along with the earrings, and then that way it'd have been a matching set. My bad. I apologize. We apologize for the green. I forgot completely what I was gonna say now when I went on that tangent.
Oh, I did too. All right. Yes, it's the thought that counts. Exactly. All right. So this is in the Star Tribune. In the same section, I found this little part. Andre Simone's video, What Are You Doing Here, has been added to the MTV playlist. I don't remember seeing this video. It's in the playlist for this week. So you can go and look at this video. It's from his album, Surviving in the 80s, which was one of my favorite albums at the time. I thought it was incredible. So if you haven't checked out Andre Simone Surviving in the 80s, you should. That's my public service announcement, which could spell crucial national exposure for the Minneapolis recording artist. He is currently in American Artist Studio in town recording The Girls. Do you guys remember The Girls?
I remember him talking about them.
A trio of female singers. Two are from the Twin Cities, and the other is from Rock Island, Illinois. Isn't that where Jesse's from? Rock Island?
Yeah, I was gonna say they had a pipeline. There was a pipeline, but I will say this quickly. When I first went to Minneapolis to do my start doing research on my book, we took the train. And what I found was that there were a lot of people taking the train from Illinois, Gary, Peoria, Rock Island. So there's a pipeline of Black people going from Gary, Peoria, and Rock Island, Illinois, into Minneapolis. And here's why that's important. When I started doing my research in 94, 95, Minneapolis was less than 3% Black. I think today it's around 25% Black. I think somebody should Google that to see what that number is. But yeah, so I think it's interesting that Rock Island, Peoria, Illinois, Chicago, it's been one of the havens that a lot of black people migrated from there to Minneapolis because there was great economic opportunity. And riding the train that we were riding from Mississippi through Illinois had a lot of black people on it going to Minneapolis for economic opportunities. In fact, I almost took a job. I can't remember the community college there because they were saying, and this is literally what they said. Now you gotta understand, this white people in a room, they literally said, we got money for black people. Like they really said that. Was like, and I'm like, boy, this they really, so, and again, so it went from, like I say, less than 3% in 1994. And again, I think they're right around, I want to say 20-25% black now.
No, according to Google, it's in between 16.4 or 18.4.
Think about that. 3% to 16. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you think about how powerful the black community has been on shaping Minneapolis' culture, that at 3% black, only 3% black, that small black population has basically shaped what we know of as the culture. That's another testament to black genius. I'll shut up.
All right. And so I just want to read the rest of this. Simone's other production, because I love this album so much, is Evelyn King's new album, Face to Face. We've talked about this album a couple times earlier this year. He wrote and produced half the material. Leon Silvers, I think, did the other half, or at least a quarter, including the title cut. The one-man recording band expects to have his third solo album out by summer. And I don't think that happened.
And sadly, I'm sorry,
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, sadly, the only thing I like about that song is just the hook. Over and over and over again. What are we doing here? I don't like any of the rest of that song other than that part. That is my favorite part. If I was a rapper, I would loop that part of the song and just play it over and over again. So, Michael Dean, that's a project for you. Loop, what are we doing here? Just that part of it. Loop that part and get that to us.
Get on it.
I like the whole song, Sleep, but I do like the over and over and over part too. You're absolutely right. I think it's a catchy song. All right, so I found another call sheet, or rather, my husband offered this to me. When I say I found, I have help. So on Monday, December 19th, this call sheet, you can see interior basement and hall, dressing room. And you can see, I guess, the room numbers. And so on that day, makeup call was at 7:15 a.m. for Prince. Set call was 8:15 a.m. Morrison have to get makeup until 5 p.m. and get to the set until 6 p.m. Then Bobby Z got there at 8:15 a.m. and Matt, and their set was 9:15. And Wendy and Lisa got there a little earlier at 7:45 for their makeup, and Mark Brown got there at 8:15 alongside Bobby Z and Matt Fink. And then everybody else was on hold, meaning Big Chick, Jesse, Jelly Bean, Brenda, Susan. Billy Sparks arrived at 5 p.m. for his makeup when Morris arrived, and they went on set at 6 p.m. And then Alan Leeds, Alan Leeds was a stagehand. I always forget about that. He had makeup at 10 a.m. and what set call was 11 a.m.
He was Mr. Hey Kid, 5 minutes.
Yeah. I totally forgot about that.
What's the name of the guy who announced the bands? What's his name? The name of the guy who announced it? That dude was the cool one, the coolest. Ladies and gentlemen, the revolution.
He reminded me of like what was the thing that the Rocky Horror Picture Show? That's the vibe I got from that cat.
And at the end, I want you to go back to the slide. When you go back, not do it now, but at the end, that to me is probably the most memorable thing. Is when the movie begins, sitting there in real time as a 14-year-old, and that shot of Prince with the guitar, and then the Warner Brothers sign is kind of dissolving, and you hear that dude's voice. Ladies and gentlemen, the revolution, and then Dilly Below. I mean, I remember being 14, just mind blown. Like that was like the coolest thing to. I was. You know, I was again had already seen Prince live, all of that, but that opening shot, that and to me, it doesn't work without that dude's voice, ladies and gentlemen. The revolution, I mean, and Prince standing there in that silhouette with the guitar and the smoke. At that moment, Prince was Jimi Hendrix, B.B. King, Little Richard, and everything great that had gone before him. He was on that screen about to blow the world's mind. That's it. I'll shut up.
Yeah, that was a dope moment.
It really was. And I love Just Rule's comment, history in real time. Yeah, it really was. It's very iconic. You took the words right out of my mouth, Becky. Yes, mesmerizing from Drea Dances. All right, so this is the bottom of that call sheet. See anything? Atmosphere and stand-in. So there's one Prince stand-in. And then this was for Saturday, December 17th, Prince's basement, blah, blah, blah. We won't go into it. You can read it. All right. One more article I want to read for today. This is from December 19th. This is John Bream. Thank God for John Bream. That's all I got to say. He was like definitely Prince's documentarian. So let's get started with Prince keeping movies shrouded in mystery. If the participants had their way, Purple Rain, the movie starring Prince and other local rock musicians, would be the best kept secret since Watergate. The $6 million movie, which had been filming in various locations around the Twin Cities since November 5th, has been closed to the media. And local extras signed agreements pledging not to discuss the project with the media. We are working with a lot of first-time actors, Purple Rain publicist Bonnie Metzger said in early November, explaining the media embargo. That actually makes a lot of sense. You know, a lot of them, I mean, all of them were acting for the first time and they needed some space. By last weekend, Metzger had a different song. Closed sets are not unique. Barbara, in parentheses, Streisand does it all the time. Representatives from all local media have been turned away, as was a Billboard magazine columnist who came here from New York City. Last week, the Los Angeles Times carried a story by a correspondent who sneaked onto the Purple Rain set as an extra. That's the article we just read. So that's I love the play between the two articles. Al Metzger would disclose is that Metzger would disclose is that Purple Rain is being directed by Al Magnoli and produced by Cavallo, Ruffalo, and Fagnoli, the Los Angeles-based firm that manages Prince, The Time Weather Report, Earth, Wind, and Fire. The script was written by Magnoli and William Blinn, who wrote Brian's Song, from a concept developed by Prince. The storyline, according to our Deep Throats, that's interesting, finds Prince playing a character who is struggling to unseat Morris Day as king of the local rock scene. In the end, Prince reigns and captures the heart of Day's girlfriend. Day and his real-life band, The Time, portray themselves. A New York starlet known as Apollonia, Patty Cotero, plays the female lead. That part was originally designated for Vanity, lead singer of the group Vanity Six, but she reportedly left the project to work on a movie with renowned director Martin Scorsese. We talked about that earlier. Before I go to the next part of this, what I found interesting, and I didn't say that in the previous article that I read, but in both cases, you forget that Purple Rain is out, and we've had all of this time with Purple Rain, but like they're using like this Dirty Mind photo of Prince in this article about Purple Rain. I don't know why they wouldn't even at least use a 1999 era photo, but that's me being nitpicky. But then if you remember the previous article that we read, that actually looks like it's from, I don't know.
From the Capri. The Capri comes from that Capri show.
The Capri show, that's right. Yeah, the Capri show. So I find it interesting that they're not either of these articles. This one is from LA Times, And the Star Tribune aren't using any 1999 photos. I don't know. I just find that interesting and odd. So let's reread the rest of this real quick. I know this might be boring to some of you guys, but I think it's fascinating. All right. So in essence, Purple Rain is an MTV era answer to Beach Blanket Bingo. I don't remember this movie, Beach Blanket Bingo. Did anybody in the chat see Beach Blanket Bingo? I don't even know who was in it. So I'm assuming
I saw Beach Blanket Bingo and all the other 227 movies of the 50s and 60s that was made the same way. They basically, you go and get whoever was hot, whether it was Frankie and Avalon or James Brown or the Nelson twins or whoever had a hit single on the 50s and 60s, go get a bunch of white kids and let them dance around to it with a loose spot about going to the soda soda shop and Billy meeting Susie and we gonna dance away, and that was it. Annette Funicello, all of them. If you've seen one of them, you've seen them all. But yes, I did see Beach Blanket, and the plot of them are all so with Crush Groove, Breaking, they all the same movies. They've been making them same movies since 1942. Let's move on.
So I love these comments in the chat. It's really, I can't read the chat and read at the same time. So I apologize. But Chris saying that having been a newspaper reporter for years back in the day, I bet that headshot of Prince was sitting in a metal file cabinet and someone pulled it out of a rusty drawer at Prince time. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much for that. And Deep Throat was a person on the inside of Watergate, secretly giving information to the press. Thank you for that. And yep. So we got two Annette Funicello. So she was the Apollonia of her day. Love that. But more squeaky clean and cool. And yes, one more. Grease, because I know how much.
I'm gonna push back on you. Grease was not the same. In fact, here's a little tidbit about Grease. Grease was a play before it was a movie, and it was actually considered too lewd to make a movie. And in fact, there was a fight because John Travolta was never in the play. The guy who plays John Travolta's right-hand man in the movie actually played the John Travolta part in the play. And so there's a scene where they're building a car called Grease Lightning. They got to get the new car. Okay. Show you how lewd the play was, and they tried to clean it up. If you watch the movie, when they're singing Grease Lightning, they have this saran wrap. With the saran wrap, you will notice the guy takes the saran wrap and he brushes it across his crotch. The reason he does that is because in the original play, the guy they use saran wrap as a substitute for condoms. But that was considered so there's a whole scene and discussion about using saran wrap as condoms that they cut out for the movie, but the actors were rebelling. So if you watch the movie closely, there are little things that they're doing to get the more risque parts of the play in the movie. And him rubbing that saran wrap across his crotch was him paying homage to the original play. So Grease, yeah. So I get but Grease, and I'm gonna say this. I like Grease too, but it's not nearly as good as Grease. But Grease is not a Beach Blanket. That if you know, like I said, if you know the history of the play, and then connect the history of the play with the actual movie, Grease is a really interesting commentary about sexuality and how popular music was driving sexuality. That really was the core of the play Grease. That's it. I'll shut up. That's right, prophylactics. I like that. Somebody said that. I like that, Kim. Prophylactics. That's right. The saran wrap as prophylactics. Now let's move on before I get y'all canceled and get us flagged on YouTube.
All right. Okay. So, okay. Prince, who has a reputation for being a difficult despot in creative situations, has been punctual for the 7 a.m. starts. and he has been taking direction well, according to our Deep Throats. He's exciting, even when lip syncing, said one observer. Sources say Prince has been translating well to film, which was predicted by Don Amendola, the former Guthrie Cricket and Chanhassen actor, who conducted classes last summer for Prince and the other musicians in the film. They also took dance classes at the Minnesota Dance Theater, and we all know that the First Avenue show that happened earlier this year in August was for the Minnesota Dance Theater. Purple Rain used up to 600 extras a day for concert sequences filmed at First Avenue, the downtown Minneapolis club. I have a dear friend who is an extra for Purple Rain. I'm going to see if I can get them on so they can talk about it. Extras typically worked from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. for $35. 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., $35, minus a 10% agency fee and withholding taxes, and a box lunch. Several members of the media, including representatives of the LA Times, Twin Cities Reader, and City Pages, signed up as extras with Plaza 3, which handled the local casting, but were later fired, Metzger said. Now, that was very clever of the journalists to sign up to be extras, but they were found out. Extras signed agreements saying that they would be dismissed and lose their pay if they talked to the media. Local photographer Byron Hetcher, 29, who was Prince's stand-in for technical purposes, was dismissed after he talked about his role to City Pages, the local weekly newspaper. I need to find that article. Alan Freed, 22, a disc jockey for WWTC and KMOJ, signed on as an extra because he didn't want to pass up a chance to be in a locally filmed music movie. He told Plaza 3 that he worked for Metropolitan Radio, owners of WWTC, and he lasted 2.5 days before he was fired. I was over at the World Theater where the extras waited between sessions at First Avenue, talking to 2 other extras who knew me from KMOJ, Freed said. A production person overheard me talking about working in radio. He asked me into the lobby, and after we talked, he suggested we go across the street to First Avenue. There I talked to a woman who told me they were sensitive to the media about information getting out. She said I would be paid for the day and that I would have to leave. I told her I didn't think that was the way it was, that I was there as a private citizen, not as a disc jockey. I didn't think I was more liable to talk than anyone else simply because I have access to a mic. After we repeated our argument, she told me she'd get someone else to talk to me. A police officer came and escorted me out the door. So do you guys see, Lee, you're laughing. Are you with him, or do you think he was right in his thinking?
Look, I love the brother. I'm assuming since he worked at KMOJ, he was a brother. I love the brother's hustle. I ain't mad at the brother's hustle. But y'all know his ass would have been on the mic. So yeah, yesterday at the this stuff was going down. I mean, so I'm not mad that the brother tried. I don't even deny that he honestly wanted to be there. Right? Yeah. So I'm not saying that he was doing it to be, but brother, you in radio, brother. You in. So I understand their situation, which is we trying to keep it under wraps. We trying to keep as much mystery as possible. And so it's not, look, and I want to be clear, I'm not, if I had the opportunity, I'd have tried it too. Like, I want to be real clear. I have been thrown, Celie McInnes has been thrown out of much better places, just so y'all know. I have tipped into some places where I didn't deserve to be and been escorted out. So I ain't mad at the brother.
Imagine trying to do that today, though. Like now everyone can just jump on social media and stuff. That would have been tough. It would have been tough.
Yeah.
Especially all those extras. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know this is a bad question to ask. I actually wonder, you know what, I shouldn't even ask this question because it's even like, is it better? I wonder, do I like being from the era of mystery simply because that's my era, right? To where now, what I don't like about social media is that there are people who are famous simply for being famous. They're not famous because they have a skill. They're not famous because they can sing or dance or whatever. They are famous simply because one of the things about mass media is that if you see somebody's face enough, they become embedded in you in a way that you wouldn't do. Like if you, like I heard a comic say that if you put a orange on television and you broadcasted that orange on television for 6 months, and then took that same orange out and put it at a table at a restaurant, somebody would go, "Hey, that's that orange from TV." And so I wonder if the talent aspect has been hurt because now people are famous just for being famous with no actual kind of skill. Like there are people that I ask myself, well, what do they do? And nobody can actually tell me what they do. Like they don't sing, they don't dance, they don't rap, they don't do anything, but they're famous. And so, but I don't know if that's just because I'm just an old dude and that's my era. Does that make you see what I'm saying? That like I'm cognizant to the fact that I like it that way because that's how it was for me.
Right.
But I don't know if that necessarily makes it better. I shut up.
Well, it's an interesting thing because I think a lot of it has to do of sort of what we're used to and the way that things were sort of presented and how we got information, and it is turned upside down. It's a wealth of everything, right? But I think that there is still a talent in being seen when there's everything. Like there's still a conscious effort for people to want to zero in on whatever it is for whatever reasons. And if a person can keep that going, even when there's thousands of other distractions, I think that is another talent that we just are not used to.
Mm-hmm.
And I would throw in snarkily to say, I think also a little bit is because every single individual on this planet has something interesting about them. And I would say God has put something on everybody. It may not be the talent that we are traditionally understanding, but there's a reason why we as humans are identifying with these people, however we are hearing about them, and people are latching onto these people. I think it might be even bigger than the talent part about it. And I think it's just a part of humanity that we are drawn to certain people for whatever reasons, good, bad, or ugly. You could the most ratchet or the most kind. I think there's still something that is people are obviously identifying with this. I don't think there was an option to identify with the most ratchet back then. It wasn't in front of your face like that. And there's a reason why people are drawn to some of this foolishness. I say it's foolishness, but maybe I'm being foolish. Maybe there's a part of humans that are drawn to seeing people go through foolishness and stuff, and for us, as we come from a time where that wasn't ever the case, it bewilders us.
Right.
We never grew up like that, but I can imagine kids that grow up today that may not think that's normal to them, and maybe that will breed a different talent which may speak to why I think sometimes some of the talent today is frustrated because they're not being treated what they thought they should be treated and paid 20, 30 years ago. And now the attention is not the same today, and their value is not the same today. And that's probably, they don't understand how to deal with that. How is a guy who has no training in this more valuable than me? And I went through all of the channels that are supposed to guarantee me to get this sort of money. Well, technology has opened it up where there's just not a value in it. People are connecting how they connect. So I go back to what you're saying. I think there is something going on there why talentless people, as we call them, are becoming so important to us. I think it goes beyond the talent.
Okay.
But I like Mila's comment. It says sometimes the skill is attracting everyone. So something to think about.
Yeah. And I also want to respond, and I don't disagree. I think with Brother Law, the only thing I'd add to Brother Law's comment is that social media may make Brother Law more known, but he's popular because of his talent, right? Like Brother Law is somebody that he's not popular because he's just popular. He's popular because he actually has a talent and a skill. So I would only say to Brother Lawdy, yeah, social media has allowed more people to have access to you. Right? Right. So I agree, right? What he says that more talent and great, but if no one sees, right. And I agree with you 100%, brother. So I agree with you 100%. I would only say that the difference between you and most people is that you have a talent, and there are a lot of talentless people who are popular just for being popular, if that makes sense.
But you could
No,
also have all the
makes
talent in the world. That doesn't guarantee that people gonna feel
Right.
you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I agree.
You could be the most skilled at whatever, but if they ain't feeling you, it ain't feeling you.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Prince was super talented, but he wasn't always at the top.
I've argued, and I think we've all argued at certain points that if you take away Purple Rain, Prince may have been the greatest independent artist of all time. Right? If you, so yeah, so and I think and I always get it. I know, yeah, that prior to Purple Rain, wasn't 1999 the only one that was platinum? I know that Dirty Mind didn't go platinum until after Purple Rain. So that speaks to that sometimes you can have talent, but talent doesn't equate to mass appeal. So I agree 100% there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna read the rest. We're going over, so if either of you have to leave, I totally understand, but I do want to complete this. It's not that long. A soundtrack album featuring songs. Oh, what could I possibly tell someone? The song titles. That's about it. There wasn't that much going on. A soundtrack album featuring songs by the time Vanity 6 and Prince will be issued in advance of the film. The movie is expected to be released in the spring. No distributor has been secured, however. Warner Brothers is expected to handle the project. The company's record division has had Prince under contract since 1977, and he is reportedly in his option year. I wonder if that's true.
What's that?
Okay. That he was in his option year in 1983. It was 5 years. So 77, 78, 89.
Well, remember he wasn't going to re-sign if they didn't get him a movie deal.
Movie. That's right.
Yeah. Remember that's what his management had to push to Warner Brothers is if y'all don't get him a movie deal, he's not going to re-sign.
That's right. All right. The 23-year-old Minneapolis natives. But the reason why I'm like trying to calculate in my head, I thought that the original contract was just for 5 years, or was it for 7?
Ooh, I don't know.
Well, was it the contract with the management or the contract with the record company?
With the record company.
And if it's 5, that would put it at 82, right?
Mm-hmm. Because I always thought that 1999 was really like the album that he needed to make a hit on, or they were gonna.
So I thought it was.
Well, no. Like, yeah, he needed to hit for 80 for 99 to be re-signed. And then once 1999 does what it does, now he has the power. And so now, he goes into 1999 with Warner Brothers having all the power, right? So before he makes 1999, Warner Brothers is like, you better give us a hit or else. Prince now gets the hit. Now the power dynamic changes, and now he's able to say, oh, and by the way, I'm not re-signing with y'all until y'all give me a movie deal. So yeah, so I think that 1999 completed the original 5-year deal, and now Prince is saying, if you want me to re-sign, I'm gonna need a movie deal. And so the question is, when in 83, when after 1999, when in 83 does he resign? He clearly have had to resign before they started doing the movie, making the movie.
Yes, I thought the resign thing was told to the management company, like, I won't resign with y'all if you don't get this.
That's right. Yeah, you're right, from the management company. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, I got it. I'm straight now. Thanks. So it sounds like 5 years for the record contract. It was signed. So 1999 was pivotal, and he wasn't going to resign with the management company if they didn't give him a movie.
No, but I
That's
thought management also articulated that to Warner Brothers as well. Like they went to Warner Brothers and said he wants a movie deal.
Yeah, that's why I say I could be wrong. I thought that he told the management company that
Right.
I
That I'm
won't
not gonna
sign
stand
with
with y'all.
you if you don't go get a thing. But I
Right.
don't know about that part.
Yeah, exactly. And I think then that the management used that leverage with Warner Brothers to say, but he's also not going to resign with. He's looking for a movie deal, and then either y'all can give him a movie deal, or we gonna go somewhere else to shop him a movie deal.
got
Which
it.
they did.
Yep. Yep. All right. So let's see. The 23-year-old.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Michael.
I was gonna say what Big Sexy kind of put on there. I always thought that Dirty Mind was the one where it was either make it or break it, and that was going to be the last album or something like that of the deal, or the initial deal he sent, and then it was a success. And he was like, "Oh, okay, cool. I can do some new stuff."
That's a good question, because then that brings into the fact that it was also reported that the second album needed a hit because he went over budget on the first album. Remember, he spent so much money on the first album and didn't have a top 10 hit that he needed a top 10 hit with the second album, which he got with Why You Want to Treat Me So Bad and what's the other one?
Want to Be Your Lover?
I Want to Be
Your Lover. Yeah, those gave him the hits that he didn't have with For You.
Yep. So one of the reasons why I'm doing this, what the Prince, for multiple reasons, but one of the reasons is that I forget. I mean, there's so much Prince information that you just forget. And so this just reminds me that I need to go back and redo some research on that deal, the original deal, because it could be 3 years, it could be 5 years, because I'm getting different answers in the chat from different people. Some say 3, some say 5. But yeah. All right. So continue this article. The 23-year-old Minneapolis native's fifth album, 1999, has sold more than 2 million copies, making it Warner Brothers' most successful record of the past year. That I didn't know. That 1999 was Warner Brothers' most successful record of the past year. That would be interesting to know if that's true. The disc has yielded 3 songs that have landed in the top 10, and the 4th single was issued this month. The album was one of the chief reasons the editors of Rolling Stone named Prince Rock Artist of the Year in 1982. I've been trying to find that article. If anybody has that and has an image, I can't find. I read it in all these articles that Prince was Rock Artist of the Year in 1982 in Rolling Stone, but I can't find any evidence of that, like the article in Rolling Stone. So if anybody has that and you're willing to send it to me, be my best friend. And recently called him the most influential music man of the 80s so far. Despite being the critics' darling, Prince has steadfastly avoided interviews, preferring to shroud his career and life in mystery. He has chosen to carry those dictates to his movie career. The filming of Purple Rain is scheduled to wrap up this week at a soundstage in Eden Prairie. Metzger said a publicity campaign would be mounted before the movie's release. To do anything now, she said, is premature. And that's it for the article. And okay, so Ward Dolphin says Big Sexy is correct. The 3-album deal. The re-signing was with management. See the Purple Rain lecture with management, Apollonia, etc. Can you be more specific about the Purple Rain lecture? Like which Purple Rain lecture are you talking about? Thank you so much. And it says according to Brown Mark, Controversy was his last album with the initial deal with Warner's. So then that would make it 4 albums. Or rather a 5-hour. That would have been a 5-year deal if he signed in 77, right? And so there's so many different ways that this could go. Yeah. No, I'm not looking for. I have this Prince and Vanity. I'm talking about basically Rolling Stone made Prince the Artist of the Year and Rock Artist of the Year in 1982. That's what I'm looking for.
And the pushback king of myself would ask the question, but why does that matter to them?
What's that?
That Rolling Stone said it was the rock artist.
It doesn't matter. I just want the evidence. I mean, it's just me as a researcher. It's just like, because sometimes people, especially in the press, a writer will say something without it being researched, and then that gets perpetuated, throughout. For instance, my prime example is, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. There's this picture of Prince and Jill Jones from Graffiti Bridge. Everybody and their mama always says it's Ingrid Chavez. And it keeps going and on and on, year after year after year, without any fact checking. So I've always read about this, that Prince was supposedly, the rock artist of the year, but I have never seen it. Like, I've only read about it. I never seen it. So I just want to see it to know whether or not it was true.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm not speaking about that aspect of it, but I agree.
Okay. Also, Barron says he had the article, not sure it was Rolling Stone or Spin Magazine. According to John Bream, in real time, it was Rolling Stone. So it's probably Rolling Stone. Okay, and Duke is saying labels don't do year deals. It's based on the number of albums.
Right.
So if that was the case, then Controversy was the 4th album, but I don't think he had a 4 album deal. It was either 3 or 5, I would think, in terms of the album deal. Okay, and we have one. We'll just since we're we'll do. Hold on. Let's see how much we got. Let me do this really quick. I can do this in like 5 minutes probably. Let's see. So
all right, past 30 minutes.
Yeah, well, 15 minutes. Like we normally end at 2. I just want to get done with it. Like I said, if you have to leave, Michael, I totally understand. It's just I don't want to keep going on this since we're supposed to be done.
Go ahead. I promise I won't talk. Go ahead. Go through the slides. Right. I'll be quiet.
Okay. Interior backstage, hallway near doctor room. Night, Billy Warren's Prince. I don't understand. Near doctor room. Okay. Next scene, interior club hallway scene. Prince ignores fans as he goes along hallway. I'm assuming that's at the end when he comes back down after the Purple Rain. I could be wrong. Then interior dressing room, nighttime, Billy Warren's Prince. Morris needles him with pass to his show. We see that. Interior dressing room, nighttime, Prince and group fidget nervously. Jill reacts. Morris and the time pass by and needle Prince. MC announces Prince. OS, Prince exits. We see that scene. Next, Riv Club, nighttime, Prince enters club. We've got props, glasses, guitar, bike and chain. Interior club, backstage area, nighttime. Morris taunts Prince. Props are cigarettes and glasses and smoke. I don't know when that happens, but there's a lot of people in the scene all of the time. Wendy and Lisa, I don't know if that got filmed, in the movie or not. Backstage, interior backstage hallway, nighttime, guys walk and talk along hallway. Prop surgeon's mask. Bobby, Matt, and Mark. We don't get this. We don't get this scene because it's just Bobby, Matt, and Mark. And Dr. Fink has on his surgeon's mask, and there's smoke in the hallway, which is interesting. Then interior club hallway, night. Prince rushes along hallway past Jill towards rear door. We get that scene. And Hucky Austin posted this last week, or this week, actually. Yeah, this week, Purple Rain rooming list. And I think our Noslin is Prince. And it's just interesting to see where Wally was. You can see Wally. You can see Susan Rogers on this list. You can see Eric Leeds. You see Alan Leeds and Gwen Fagnoli, a lot of different people, but I'm not going into detail about that. And we're going to just wrap it up. Someone posted this really amazing interview from German Pop TV on Twitter. There's a couple parts. Part 1 and part 2 is really awesome. So if you click on these links, it'll take you to the tweet so that you can watch the videos. So that was really great to see. And this is what's in our playlist. You can watch Andre Simone and listen to Sheila E. And we all need to watch Purple Rain because my memory needs some refreshing. Next week, we are going to read pages 198 through 210. So that's a lot of pages because we haven't been reading. So you want to make sure you get your reading. It's going to be December 27th, 1983 through December 31st, 1983. And it's a wrap before 2:30. All right. So how you guys? Oh, let's see. What is Mark? Oh, Tanja, if you found it, please send it to me. Let's see. No new talent gets a 5-album deal out the gate. 3 is standard. It allows time to develop and see what they can do. Okay. And thanks so much, Big Sexy. And thank you so much, War Dolphin TV, for the genesis of the film on YouTube. I'll add that to the playlist. So, Celie, Michael Dean, do you guys have any final words?
I just want to say, it's going off topic. Shout out to Sister Kanisa, Darling Nisi, for doing that compilation of Kirk Franklin discussing the time he opted not to work with Prince because he was afraid of church chatter. Because I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. I did put it in another Prince thread that what appeared 2 days online. Most of us old Prince heads, we had this, but Kirk Franklin for the first time was given the audio of Prince performing Stomp. And if you watch Kirk Franklin's response to Prince performing his song, Franklin almost cries. And so, that gets into a deeper discussion that we were having about Kirk Franklin and church chatter and how certain times there are things that's part of religion, and there are things that people, man-made elements of the religion that people use to oppress you. And so that's just a beautiful full circle moment. And so for folks who are on the newsletter, Brother Dean and Sister Prop Duff, they've kind of seen this, but I'm actually going to be posting an article, and the title of the article is going to be Prince, Kirk Franklin, and St. Augustine. What do they have in common? And so if you don't know who St. Augustine is, Google St. Augustine, because there's some really interesting things about religion and sexuality. And so I'm going to cover some things around religion and sexuality, connecting Kirk Franklin, Prince, and St. Augustine, and how religion and sexuality has impacted how we engage popular music. So I'm going to post that in the newsletter Tuesday. So I want to give props, though, to Sister Kanisa for being the person, the spark plug for that. And so I just, and that's just another, like you said, why you do these. There's so many brilliant people in these spaces. So props to Brother Dean, props to you, Sister Professor D, but also the Sister Kanisa and so many people, and all you great folks in the chat. Yeah, there's so many brilliant minds. And one of the things I use is all of us working together keeps the circle from being broken. And that's why this is important. So share, please share, and don't let if whatever little information you have about Prince, that's important to the conversation, because there's so much bad information out there that folks like you guys in the chat, y'all have to provide that information, because 20, 30 years from now, if y'all don't do what y'all are doing, then 20, 30 years from now, there's going to be a false narrative about Prince, and we'll only have ourselves to blame for it. So thank all of y'all for everything y'all do to make sure that the truth is told about the brilliance of Prince. That's it. I'll shut up.
All right. So I had just had it. So Arlene says there's Christmas on Funkatopia.com. So I'm assuming maybe there's a 24-hour, 24/7 stream going on there. And I would just like to wish everyone who celebrates a happy holiday. And if you don't celebrate, I hope you have an incredible week. And I hope that we'll see all of you next Saturday at the same bad time and bad channel for What Did Prince Do This Week. Take us out, Michael Dean.
Work it like a job. We'll see you next time. Peace.